Wagwan. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to transform the skirt on the left to the skirt on the right. Okay, so to get started, I am using this so quaint cargo pocket pattern, and I can link it in the description box below. So I want the pocket to be a little bit smaller, so I am just adjusting that before cutting it out. So I'm just going to run through this a bit quickly. If this is something you are interested in seeing, then let me know in the comment box below. I can make a whole separate video on how to adjust the size of the pockets. So I'm going to do that, and then we can assemble the different parts. Alright, so to get started with the pocket, I am going to start with the body. So I'm going to first mark the center, and then I am going to go 2 inches away from the center on the left hand side and on the right, and mark that as well. Now, fold those 2 markings on the side and bring them towards the center, then pin them into place. I'm going to iron down the pleat so that it can stay flat. After that, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and sew the top and the bottom down to keep them in place. Alright, so now moving on to the border. What I'm doing here is folding one of the raw edges in about 1/2 inches. Then I'm going to iron that down. As you can see, I already marked that out just so it can help me as I fold, just to make sure I am doing it straight. Now I'm going to place the border on top of the body, making sure they are right sides together. Starting on the right side, place the raw edge along the end of the body and pin into place. Whenever I get to the corner, as you can see here, I'm just placing a small notch, just that it's easier to bend and go around the border. I do have a little bit of an excess at the end, but that's okay. I'm just going to cut off that end before I take it over to the sewing machine. Now to finish off the pocket, what I'm doing is folding that last raw edge on top about 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to pin it. Alright, now for the flap, I'm going to fold in 1/2 inch on both of them. Then I'm going to pin all the way around, leaving out the top. I'm going to sew that down, and then I'm going to turn it over to the right side. So it should look something like this. Repeat those same exact steps to make the second pocket. Now, moving on to the skirt. So here I'm going to remove the elastic band from the waist of the skirt. The elastic that was original in it has dry rotten, so I'm going to take that out so I can put in new elastic bands. Alright, so once I've removed the old elastic, I'm going to lay the skirt flat. I'm placing this mini skirt that I have on top just to use as a pattern guide. I'm using my chalk to outline the skirt, and then I'm going to pin where I marked out. Making sure that on top I leave room to fold over for the waist to insert the elastic band, as well as the bottom to hem. Once I've put the pins in, I'm going to try the skirt on just to make sure it fits before taking it over to the sewing machine. I am sewing the sides down, and then I'm going to just cut off the excess sides. Alright, and then for the waist, I'm going to fold over 1 inch to insert the elastic. So I'm just pinning around the waist, and then I'm doing the same to the bottom. I am going to fold over 1 inch as well to hem the bottom. So then I'm going to use my iron just to give it a good press before I take it over and sew it down. Alright, now let's figure out the placement for the pocket. So what I'm doing here is just marking out the center of the skirt. That way I can make sure I'm positioning the pockets equally on both sides. Alright, to make it easier, I'm just making an outline to pin the pockets down. Now I'm pinning the edge of the border onto the skirt. Alright, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky and the beauty of upcycling. So once I've pinned the pocket onto the skirt, I realized I don't really like this style of pocket on this skirt. So at this point, I'm making a decision to just sew down the pocket flat onto the skirt. Alright, so first I'm going to sew down those pleats in the center. Then I'm going to actually cut off the border since I want the pockets to lay flat. I will no longer need the borders. Alright, so I already went ahead and sewn one pocket down. So let's do the second one. I'm just going to pin the body down, just making sure it is aligned to the one that's already sewn there. In order to sew the flap down, what you want to do is turn it upside down, sew along the inside, and then fold it over and top stitch the top down. Now, using my safety pin, I'm going to insert the elastic in the waist. Then I'm going to sew the edge of the elastic together, sew up that small opening that I had for the waist, and then the skirt is done and ready to wear. If you guys have any questions, then go ahead and drop them in the comment box below. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you make something like this, then don't forget to tag me on Instagram at Leeka. The skirt all dressed up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.